Hello, welcome to the CTCL Virtual College Fair. Thank you for joining us. A few housekeeping announcements as people join the session and get situated. You can use the Q&A button on your screen to type your questions at any time to our presenters. And your cameras and microphones are off, so the panelists cannot see or hear you, so get comfortable and just you can concentrate on the great information you're going to hear. This is just one of many different sessions happening. Be sure to sign up for additional ones where you signed up for this one. And this presentation is being recorded and will be available to you in about a week, same website where you registered. Okay. So that gets the housekeeping stuff out of the way. I'm going to get out of the way myself and turn it over to Hank from Austin College.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Austin College's Colleges That Change live session. My name's Hank Ewert. I'm Executive Director of Admission for the college. And today, joining me for the question and answer chat function will be my colleague, Sarah Hussein, Assistant Director of Admission. Please feel free to ask a question at any point. Don't worry about waiting until the end of my presentation. I'm going to try to keep this relatively brief, shooting for 15 or 20 minutes, so that there'll be an extensive opportunity for Q&A. Again, really appreciate your being here. A little bit about how I came to be here. Most of my career was on the other side of the desk. I was a teacher and college advisor at a private high school in Texas for many, many years. I also had a career phase as an independent college consultant. All through those years of advising students for college, I had held Austin College in particularly high regard. So when in 2015, the college made a wonderful offer to work for them, I jumped at it because I had always wanted to see things from the other side. And also I knew that Austin College was a place that was a great fit for me in terms of my view of education and my values and just the way that Austin College worked. The unassuming quality that it has, along with the consistent record of excellence and measurable success. So I'd like to start by just suggesting that, I don't know how familiar you are with Austin College, but Austin College might not be your image of private college in the region where it's located. It's academically extremely strong. It's been the cornerstone of the college throughout its history. It is extremely diverse by any measure of diversity: racial, socioeconomic, cultural background, religious background, political outlook, entertainment preference. Austin College has a wonderful diversity, yet that diversity melds into an extremely supportive, positive community, which actually is, as I've realized, is my favorite thing about Austin College, the nature of the community of students, faculty, and staff members. Just a few basic things. Obviously, if you're at a Colleges That Change Lives event, you're familiar with some of the characteristics of the group, of all the colleges in the group, and Austin College shares many of those characteristics. But just a few things that are specific to the college. It is the third oldest college in Texas, been around since 1849. Most of that history has been in Sherman, Texas, small city north of Dallas, the Dallas Metroplex. It was founded actually in Huntsville, Texas, and then moved to Sherman in the 1870s. Sherman was kind of a boom town at that point, a lot of different factors. And during the big financial downturn of the 1870s, it seemed like a good idea to the college to move to Sherman, which has turned out to be a great location. Small city, quiet city, near a major metroplex is a wonderful environment for a liberal arts college. Austin College is almost totally undergraduates, truly undergraduate focused. We have one small graduate program, a master's in teaching, involves about 20 students per year. That's the only graduate program. And that program exists not to bring in graduates of other colleges who seek an education degree, but rather to offer an additional opportunity for credential and experience for Austin College graduates who are interested in becoming teachers, serious about becoming teachers. Austin College is residential in nature. Over 80% of the students live on campus. Half the seniors choose to live on campus. Housing's very good. Food is good, but the main thing is the campus is the hub of life at Austin College 24/7. So it's just, again, having to do with that community and all the different opportunities at Austin College. It makes sense to live on campus. Some live near the campus in Sherman, but as I said, even half the seniors live on campus. Another distinguishing feature is the outstanding graduation rate. Close to 100% of our students graduate in 4 years or fewer. Actually, in the last couple of years, the college has formalized that, even though it's been the case for a long time, sort of formalized it into a finish in 4 guarantee, so that at the end of 4 years, if the student has done her part and still owes some credits for some reason, Austin College will pick up the tab for those credits. Austin College is strong across the academic spectrum, whichever way you want to go in terms of humanities, social sciences, natural sciences, business, economics. You'll find great programs and great options. It's a great place for students who aren't totally sure what they're going to major in. They've got many layers of mentoring and support to circle in on a major or to add or change to what they thought before. It has unusual strength in sciences for a small private college. Lots of great science options, obviously the ones you would expect, biology, chemistry, and physics, and so forth, but also interesting ones like biochemistry, neuroscience, cognitive science, things like that, and public health. A lot of things that reflect the interest of our students. We do have a large proportion of students, certainly not the majority, but a large proportion of students who come in thinking about a science pathway. Part of that has to do with the fact that Austin College for generations has had outstanding success having students accepted to medical school, to the extent that years ago there was a joking nickname for the college, Dr. U. So we have a lot of undergraduate programs that fit students interested in medical school or other healthcare pathways. We also have magnificent science facilities, a 7-year-old science building, science, technology, engineering, and math building called the Idea Center. That's the largest and most spectacular academic facility on campus, reflecting that strength and also the amount of interest in sciences at Austin College. Among other things, the Idea Center includes a research observatory. It's the 3rd largest research observatory in Texas, and it makes it possible for physics majors to, in effect, do an astrophysics major at the college. But Austin College is not just good at sciences. As I said, whichever direction you go on the academic spectrum, you're going to find an excellent program. The record of success with medical schools is matched by success with graduate and other professional schools. Great record with law schools, and pretty much any postgraduate academic pathway you'd be interested in. We have also a core value of extending the student's experience, academic and intellectual experience, beyond the college. So we've long been known for our international participation. About 70% of our students have an academic experience for credit outside the United States. That's according to the Institute for International Education, usually one of the 10 highest rates of participation in the United States. And also, if you look at our list of majors and minors, the academic programs reflect that interest in international things. Of our 5 different undergraduate business major options, 2 are international in focus, international business, and also international economics and finance. And this emphasis on connecting what you're learning academically with the world at large extends beyond the focus on on international things. In fact, another thing that the college has formalized in the last few years is an applied learning requirement. This was not a dramatic step for the college to take. Um, the college estimates that well over 90% of our students would have met the requirement anyway. But here's how it works. To graduate from Austin College, you have to complete one of these five requirements. One of these five. You can study abroad. Already mentioned that. Very, very important to the culture of Austin College. You can have an internship related to your academic pathway, credit-worthy internship. You can have a major applied learning project in a course. A couple of examples. We have a lot of student teaching going on that satisfies that requirement. Also, interesting example, our business finance students every year manage an investment fund of $1 million. This kind of thing happens in a lot of finance programs in a lot of colleges, but in many cases, it's really a computer simulation or projection. In the case of Austin College, the students are managing $1 million actual dollars, thanks to the generosity of a former trustee of the college. And they're really good at it. They make money every year. The money that investment fund makes goes into the scholarship and financial aid budgets of the college. So the finance students are benefiting the student body as a whole. Another option is a major service project connected to one's academic experience. There are lots of possibilities near and far. All of these aspects of the applied learning requirement are supported by the fact that the college was one of those in the United States who pioneered a 4-1-4 academic calendar back in the 1960s. So in between the long fall semester and the long spring semester, we have a 3.5-week January term, JanTerm, which offers a lot of different opportunities. You can take a course on campus, and there's a really interesting list every year. These courses are often more interdisciplinary or experimental than courses in the long semester. Sometimes professors who don't have the opportunity to teach together in a long semester can do so for a January term course. Another option is obviously study abroad. We have courses that actually meet outside the United States. We have courses on classical civilization in Greece and Rome. We have had environmental studies field research courses in lots of different places. I think the most recent outside the country was Panama a couple of years ago. And the third big category is an internship, a 1-month full-time internship. And because, as with everything in January term, it's the one thing that you're doing in that month, you're not tied to the campus. So your internship might be nearby in Sherman, it might be in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, but could be anywhere. If you're a political scientist, you might arrange an internship in Washington, D.C. And even though these internships last only a month, they're full-time. They don't have to be scheduled around an academic schedule day to day. They actually sometimes, I think, enable students to get into more depth and more responsibility in the workplace than they would in a long semester internship. So that's another focus of the college that's really important and also contributes significantly to the postgraduate opportunities for students. The fact that students have these real world experiences during college and build their resume with those is important. We also, neglected to mention another very important aspect of the college and one of the ways to satisfy the applied learning requirement, which is a major research experience. Research has been important at Austin College in a long time, and the college is not one of those colleges where most research experiences take place within the sciences. A lot do, but there are many beyond the sciences as well. That's a way of satisfying the applied learning requirement, and it's also reflected in a major campus event in the spring, the Student Scholarship Conference. Basically sort of a big research fair in which students set up in a large room with their own visual presentations, and several hundred visitors to campus, many of whom otherwise wouldn't visit the campus, come to talk to students about the work that they've done. Representatives of graduate schools, possible employers, and others come and have students share with them about the research that they've completed. All of this, as I've already suggested, leads to great postgraduate opportunities, and Austin College's record with the graduate students is stellar. Every year, our percentage of students accepted to graduate school or professional school is over 90%. Our percentages at law schools and medical schools are often 80% or above. Students build their resumes. Also, the college has great relationships with graduate schools and professional schools. All of this contributes to postgraduate success. Students who don't go on directly to a graduate academic program tend to get jobs related to their academic pathway in college. We estimate that over 70% of our students do have a job within the first year out of college related to their academic program. There's nothing wrong with making coffee for people, but not many of our graduates have to have a job like that. All right, so need to move quickly to campus life. There's a long list of activities and organizations, things you would expect like intramural sports, student government. There's a lot of community service. At any given time, we estimate that over 50% of our students are engaged in community service. And over the course of the four-year career, it's pretty much 100%. The organization, the umbrella organization for community service, does an amazing job of making matches and helping students find the best fit in terms of service for themselves. We play intercollegiate sports within the NCAA, of course, at the Division III level. No one's being paid to play. No one is playing under a scholarship contract. But we're serious about sports. We have 9 women's and 9 men's sports. Most of them are sports you would expect to find at a four-year college, but a couple years ago, we became the first college in Texas to have full intercollegiate water polo for both women and men. It's been quite a success. Growing and improving all the time. Last year, just for another example, last year our women's basketball team won the conference and played in the NCAA tournament. Our basketball coach was conference coach of the year. Wonderful program. All right. Said I was going to try to stick to 20 minutes. Let's see if I can do that. On to admissions and money. If you decide to apply to Austin College, you have a choice of 3 different applications: Common Application, Apply Texas, and Coalition. We have no favorite, we have no secret favorite. Pick the one that's best for your plans. Whichever one you choose, you must submit an essay. You can pick from any of the prompts on the given application. I would urge you not to worry too much about the prompt. Think primarily about writing the essay that you want to write. A little bit of advice about the essay: don't get hung up on making it too impressive. Impressive is nice, but what matters most is authentic. Think about something that really does get at some way in which you're different than other individuals, whether it has to do with the lens of a story or an interest or even a quirk, and focus on that. Not that we don't want good writing. We want you to do a good job, but sometimes students try too hard to make their writing impressive. They use words they don't normally use, or they use a rhetorical structure that's not the best for them. Make it real. Genuine is more important than impressive. Half the reason why we require an application essay is to contribute to that getting to know you process. That's so important to us. We work at building a relationship with our prospective students. And when we're evaluating an application, we are truly holistic in every way, including the whole person. Share something that really is genuine about yourself in the essay mode. Other things we're looking for, we obviously need a record, an academic record. Get your transcript requests in early, give your school plenty of time to send this the transcript. We ask for 2 letters of recommendation, one from a counselor and one from a teacher. You don't necessarily want to pick the teacher that gave you your best grade. You want to pick a teacher that really knows you. And until 4 years ago, we required SAT or ACT, but at that point, we became the first college in Texas to go test optional quite a while before the COVID circumstance nudged a lot of our colleagues into that situation with applications. So we've been comfortable with test optional mode for a long time. We want the student to choose yes or no in the application, whether they want scores considered. It doesn't matter whether you've already reported scores to us. It's your answer to that yes or no question in the application that will determine what we do. We will not make that decision for you. It's your choice. If you apply without scores, we do ask that you send us a copy of a graded essay or paper from high school with the grade and the teacher comments included. It's just one more sample of the writing. And it also helps us to see your writing in your context, in the context of your school. And understanding that context is supremely important to us. We're not going to judge you in terms of your course opportunities or how your rank in class looks or your GPA looks. We're not going to judge you against other schools, students at other schools. We're going to try our best to understand your context, and we put a lot of effort into that. So those are the required elements of the application. There are a number of optional elements. There are other types of test scores, AP, IB, CLEP scores if you've been taking dual credit courses in a community college context, and some others. Subject tests are important. I forgot to mention those. You should feel free to include any of those scores on your application because we will only use those additional scores if they will help you. If they won't, we'll disregard them. Another very important optional factor is an interview. We managed to interview a large number of our applicants. I think this year we might get up to about 1/3, which is extremely high percentage. We do encourage interviews, but they're not required. We understand for a lot of reasons people can't have interviews, but we do our best to interview every student who wants one. Another part of that getting to know you process gets more notes in your file, and it also helps you to understand Austin College a bit better. We have 4 admission deadlines: November 1st, December 1st, February 1st, and March 1st. We have the same admission standard across all 4. November 1st includes the early decision option for students who want that. We do not push that. Please do not use early decision as a strategy at Austin College. I know that it can be at some other schools, but it's not at Austin College. We have early decision because a small subset of our applicant pool has been checking us out for a long time and has basically narrowed the favorites down to 1 school. So it benefits them. Also, November 1st, you can apply through a process we call Decision Ready. It's not binding. It's early action like December 1. But if you have visited by that point or had an interview or had a virtual visit, and you complete your application file by November 1st, we will do our best to get a decision out to you literally in the middle of November. So that's an option. December 1st is our early action 1 deadline, and February 1st is called early action 2. I don't know why a February deadline is called early, but I didn't make up the label. I do encourage getting your application in by one of those first 3, November 1, December 1, or February 1, because those are also priority scholarship deadlines. We'll talk about that here in just a moment. March 1 is our regular deadline. There can be a disadvantage in terms of scholarships with that deadline. So let's move on to money. And if you complete an application for admission to Austin College, you are automatically applying for an academic scholarship. Those scholarships are very large. They range from $18,000 to $29,000 per year, automatically renewed for 4 years. They're our largest non-need scholarships, and there's no separate application for them. And I forgot to mention one other thing. We also do not have an application fee. So no scholarship application for the academic scholarships. We do have a long list of other smaller merit scholarships, art, music, theater, different types of other affiliations, or having an Austin College alum nominate you, different possibilities that are listed and described on our website. Most of those do have a February 1st deadline. The application process is relatively simple for them, but we do need for you to get it done by February 1st, so please check those out. We also strongly encourage everyone who applies to do the free application for federal student aid, the FAFSA. Even if you think your family might have too many resources, we still encourage doing the FAFSA. You'd be surprised how often it's helpful in terms of the overall funding picture. We put a lot of Austin College's own resources into both merit aid and need-based aid. We work hard to keep cost from keeping students out, and we're very often successful. So don't worry about the sticker price you'll see published. Apply, do your FAFSA, apply for any appropriate smaller merit scholarships, and see how it looks. We can be competitive with our state university counterparts in terms of the out-of-pocket cost for families. In fact, if you were to combine, this is just reflective of our commitment, if you combine Austin College's merit aid budget with its need-based aid budget, if you combine those two, would be every year the single largest budget line item for the college. All right, so it's about time to go to questions. Other thing I'd like to mention is that we are the Kangaroos. I hope that you can get in touch with your inner kangaroo and check us out and end up applying to Austin College. All right, let's see what questions we've got. A question about psychology at Austin College. It is a large department with a lot of different opportunities. It's outstanding. Most years our third most popular major after biology and business. So strong department, really good facilities, really good faculty, wonderful postgraduate outcomes. Question about visiting in person. Yes, we do have in-person campus tours. Revived those back in June. They are more restricted than they were for the obvious reason of the COVID circumstance. They're done in the safest way possible, and each tour is limited to just a couple of visitors. But yes, you can sign up for one on our website, and we hope that in the next several months, it'll be possible to bring more people on campus at a time, but who knows? Oh, we had a question about the PPE program. It's great that you mentioned that. Austin College actually allows students with the help of their mentor, and I didn't really talk about the mentor system. You have a mentor professor from day one, not tied to your major. And on our, you'll see if you look at our list of majors, student mentor designed major. So students can design their own major and get it approved. Basically, several years ago, a student heard that there were some colleges in the northeastern United States offering this philosophy, politics, and economics major, PPE, and worked with the mentor, had it approved, and it caught on, and it's become part of our regular list. It combines the resources of three great departments, obviously political science, economics, and philosophy. So great option, my point of view, and lots of great graduate and professional school options related to it. Interesting question about internship opportunities within the athletics department. The opportunity there that I'm most aware of is to be a student trainer. Again, this is related to the depth of interest in pre-healthcare pathways at Austin College. So we do have a lot of interest in becoming a trainer for one of the specific teams. Overall, we estimate that over a third of our students are in some way connected to a team, either as a player, manager, or trainer. But you know, that's just one. We have some. They're called student teachers, I think, in some of the science courses. They're not student teachers in the usual sense. They're not really teaching. They're just assisting the professors, I understand it. So, but that's another possibility to work within your major department and have an internship role there. Question about residence life. We have, obviously we have a lot of beds because such a great proportion of our student body lives on campus. Here's how the different residence hall opportunities work. Almost all first year students will live in a double room with a roommate. That's the usual first year residence hall. We have 4 large residence halls, mostly for first year students. 2 are single sex and 2 are co-ed. They're co-ed by floor, so you won't actually be living next door to somebody of a different gender, but or sharing a restroom with somebody of a different gender. But anyway, we do have those 4 sort of inner campus there. They're interspersed among the academic buildings, which I like. We're not a place where there's a residential side separate from the academic side of the campus. Everything's interspersed, which sort of fits Austin College. After first year, the variety and options increase. We have suite style residence halls in which you might request a 4-person suite with 3 of your friends. Have 1 or 2 bathrooms within the suite and more facilities and a common living area. Each person have a bedroom, then there's a common living area. Those are great. And then we have a lot of apartment cluster residence halls. Traditionally, those were mostly for seniors, but we're expanding the number of those. In fact, this summer we just completed another apartment cluster residence hall. So I think more students below the senior year are going to have the opportunity to live in those. They're sought after for sure. They're great. And also give you sort of different types of flexibility. You can choose as little or as much of the meal plan as you want. And you can even have some control over your utility bills. So we've got a few more minutes. Love to have more questions. These have been really good. This is being recorded, by the way. We did have a question about whether it would be available afterward. I think it'll take more than a week to get a copy, but yes. Oh, question about weekend tours. We're actually not conducting weekend tours yet, but that'll probably come back into play during this year. We traditionally had Saturday tours. They were fairly popular, actually. But I think right now they're off the table. We have a very limited set of tour guides, just out of caution at our end, and our tour guides are doing a tremendous amount during the 5-day week. Oh, good question. What are the statistics around students coming in with declared majors versus starting as undecided? I don't have that. If you would email either of us, we can get that information. We are not a college that admits by major. We're interested in what students put on the application, but we really don't see it as in any way a commitment. We want students to declare their major in the spring of second year. And obviously in some pathways, it's important to get started, like some pre-professional pathways, it's important to get started with courses in the first year. But we really don't hold anyone to or take too seriously what people put on their applications. I would guess it's about 50-50 students coming in undeclared versus students who are sure, but a lot of people change. I think in the United States now, it's up to about 3/4 of college undergraduates who change their intended major, which I'd really think makes our admission approach, not admitting by major, the best option. Still got time for another question. Well, I think everyone who signs on for a CTCL session automatically gets information like our website. I would encourage you to take a look at that. And on the admission, in the admission and aid section, do the meet your admission counselor thing, so you find out who your rep is and start building that relationship. Let's see, do we have another question? Actually, a question about ROTC. Yes, we do have one ROTC program. It is Air Force ROTC. It is in conjunction with the University of North Texas in Denton, Texas, which is a little bit under an hour to the west of us. So there is a little bit of travel once or twice a week. I'm actually this year sort of subbing in as the liaison We don't have any students participating in the program at this moment. COVID has affected that significantly, but I've been learning more about the program and the relationship. The program is cited at University of North Texas. We are what's called a crosstown partner. So our students do have to commute, not every day, but once or twice a week to the other school for their program. I don't know. I'm sure there's an Army ROTC program in somewhere in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex where we're not a partner with it, so I really don't know which university or universities might have it, but it might be possible to find. I would guess that if you found one and it wasn't 2.5 hours away or something, it might be possible to work out an arrangement through Austin College. I don't want to guarantee that. If you have questions, just I'll find out, check with me. Interesting question about internships that students could find out about before applying. I guess it would help you make your decision about applying. I think so. Just basically start with your admission rep and let us find out. We do have a variety of internship programs, lots of different fields. So check with your admission rep and we'll find out what we can before you apply. We do not have a wrestling program. I don't know if the college probably did at some point back in history, but not in recent history. That's not a sport that was canceled by COVID. At least in my awareness of Austin College in my career, the school has not had a wrestling program. There are some really good wrestling camps. I don't know about this year though with COVID, but my stepson was actually a wrestler, good high school wrestler, and thought about college wrestling and went to a camp in Pennsylvania where he learned a lot about his options. Did not end up wrestling in college, however. Well, I would like to thank everybody who participated and thank you for the questions. Please stay in touch. We're available. You can email us anytime and look forward to seeing you on campus and reading your application. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Hank and Sarah, for presenting today, and want to thank everyone who attended for joining us. When you close your window, there'll be a link to a very quick 4-question survey. We'd appreciate any feedback you can provide. Also, this is just one of many sessions being hosted. Make sure you sign up for others. Additional sessions can be found where you signed up for this one. And in about a week, I know Hank mentioned this, but you'll be able to find this session's recording as well as all of the other session recordings at this the CTCL website /presentations. ctcl.org/presentations. Again, thank you for joining us today and have a wonderful rest of your afternoon, evening. Take care.
Thank you.